CNN entertainment correspondent Elizabeth Wagmeister is here with more on her exclusive reporting. Elizabeth, tell us what you're learning.
We have learned from two sources that potential witnesses have been contacted and notified by federal investigators that they may be called to testify.
In a lawsuit filed yesterday, former star Audria English claims she was trapped in a cycle of music trafficking she never asked to be a part of because defendant Combs knew he could groom her.
When we drink, I felt so because I was paid as a stripper at Lyrical. I know what it takes to be drunk. I felt way more up.
Sean Combs was once on a glide path to becoming a billionaire. But as allegations, which Combs has denied, continued to mount, business partners have fled and his brands have become increasingly worthless. And the worst news may be yet to come.
50 Cent sells Diddy doc to Netflix after bidding war. Hey, I'm gonna put it like this. I'm gonna watch it. I think it's something that we all should watch, you know? And look, it's something that there are reasons why the industry is so quiet right now.
Ever since CNN released the surveillance footage involving Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie, the music mogul has faced mounting legal and public scrutiny. Now, additional footage and a growing number of lawsuits have intensified the controversy, bringing new allegations into the spotlight. These legal cases include claims ranging from financial misconduct to other serious alleged offenses. As more evidence is presented in court and through public filings, the case has become increasingly difficult for even Diddy's strongest supporters to dismiss, keeping the spotlight firmly on the unfolding legal battle. Most recently, he's been sued by an adult film star who was employed to work at his famous Labor Day white parties. Audria English, who filed her suit on July 3rd of this year, claims she was first employed by Combs in 2004 and was groomed into trafficking over time. In her suit, she claims her first year of working at Combs's now infamous party in Miami. There was no sinister intent or requirements for physical contact and seemed like a legitimate employment opportunity. So she came back the following year and the year after. But it would be that third party she worked at that Diddy allegedly demanded she engaged in intercourse with party guests after they learned about her adult entertainment past and forced her into work. English claims her memories of some details are hazy due to her consuming lots of alcohol and drugs. But added in her complaint, the encounters she was forced to endure were so excruciating she remembers them because they still haunt her to this day. In May of this year, April Lamprose filed her lawsuit against Combs, accusing him of battery, and she says she met Combs in '94 when she was a student at the Fashion Institute of Technology. Lampro claims Combs promised to mentor her and showered her with gifts. She says she endured 4 terrifying encounters with the producer/rapper-up until the 2000s. The first incident allegedly occurred in '95 when Combs took her to a hotel in winter. Lamprose claims months later, Combs sent her gifts and flowers, so she decided to give him a second chance. She says the second incident allegedly occurred in a parking lot where Combs forced and demanded her to perform oral on him. Then in '96, Lamprose claims Combs forced her and his former girlfriend, who happens to be the mother of 4 of his children, to take ecstasy and have with each other, where Combs allegedly pleasured himself and then Lampro says the fourth incident occurred at the end of 2000 when Combs was dating Jennifer Lopez. Years later, at an event in 2023, Lamprose claims a man informed the person she was with at the event that he had seen a tape of Lampro having with Combs that was filmed without her consent. 2 days prior to Lamprose's suit being filed, Crystal McKenna also filed a suit against Diddy. She claimed she met Diddy at a New York Fashion Week event when she was a 22-year-old model. In the suit, McKenna says Combs told her he would help advance her career. And later that same night, she alleges she met Combs at a studio where he gave her a lace joint, alcohol, then followed her into a bathroom and forced her to perform oral on him. After the alleged assault, McKenna believes Combs blackballed her in the modeling industry. She says she since suffered depression and even attempted suicide. Then there's the Rodney Jones Jr. suit filed in federal court in February of this year that accuses Combs and the people who work with him of being part of an illegal racketeering enterprise. Jones alleges in his complaint Combs reached out to him in 2022 to help him produce songs for his latest album, but Jones claims that the work went far beyond him producing. He claims he was tasked with getting drugs and soliciting workers. Jones alleges Combs would often threaten to inflict bodily harm on him if he didn't comply with his demands, and accuses him of and for allegedly grabbing him without his consent and forcing him to work while Combs paraded around. Then there's the suit filed by a woman under the moniker Jane Doe, which was filed in December of 2023. Doe alleges she was ganged and trafficked by Combs and former Bad Boy Records president Harve Pierre when she was just 17 years old and in the 11th grade. She claims she met Pierre in a Detroit lounge, and he told her he was best friends with Combs. Doe says Combs then convinced her to fly on a private jet with Pierre and a third assailant to New York City. She alleges when she was taken to Combs' studio, she was given drugs and alcohol and subsequently ganged the studio by Combs, Pierre, and the third assailant. Combs and Pierre have denied the allegations against them. Liza Gardner filed her lawsuit against Combs and R&B singer Aaron Hall in November of 2023, alleging the two forced her to have with them against her will when she was 16 years old. She claimed she met Combs and Hall at a Jodeci album release event in New York City. Combs allegedly invited Gardner and her friend to Hall's apartment for an after-party, and it was there that Combs coerced her into having with him. In the suit, Gardner claimed she was getting dressed after. Hall barged into the room, pinned her down, and allegedly forced her to have with him. The day after, the Gardner alleges that Combs came to her home and began assaulting and choking her to the point she passed out. On the same day, Gardner's suit was filed. Another suit was filed, this one by Joy Dickerson-Neal. In her suit, Dickerson-Neal says that she met Combs after she appeared in a music video with him while she was a student at Syracuse University. She claimed she agreed to go out to dinner with the rapper and producer in January of '91. During their date, Dickerson-Neal alleges that Combs intentionally drugged her, then her, and recorded the she alleges days later. A male friend revealed to her that he and other men had viewed the tape, which she says from that point her life went into a tailspin, and after returning to college, she had to be admitted to the hospital for severe depression and suicidal ideation.
I think the music industry is one of the most corrupt industries on the planet. And I know somebody personally, and I'm not even going to go into details, that did one of the biggest hits of Biggie's career. And he told me when he sent the beat to Puffy, he just stole it from him. So just from the amount, how you doing business, you cannot do business that way and expect for you to continue to be successful, because eventually it will come back. So we always heard about, from that standpoint of view, just doing people dirty, just sneaking people for money, and every evil thing you can think of, they just, So that's sad, because when you come from our background and we get into the music industry, for example, and they start becoming these CEOs, the first thing they start talking about, man, we're gonna do our own record company because we tired of the white man stealing from us. You know what I mean? And then you get these black CEOs, they come do the same exact thing to black artists. Yeah, so you keep seeing that cycle where you that's why the music industry, I always say, is one of the most corrupt industries on the planet, because, everybody's out for themselves. You know what I mean? Everybody's out for themselves. So the same thing they complain that the white, CEOs are doing, the black CEOs do it to the same thing to the artists.
So when you see the situation that Diddy in right now, right, you're not surprised?
It doesn't surprise me. Yeah, it doesn't. You know what I mean? We just always heard he was cutthroat. I'm surprised he survived that long. I used to say, well, he probably rubbing shoulders with the people. Those, I don't get into that conspiracy, Illuminati and stuff like that, where people start saying it. But I definitely believe that it's in the music industry, there's some higher people that's very corrupt and evil. And I remember when we first, and I didn't really understand it, but when we first, the time that I first met Pac, we was in a group called Dramaticidal. We went from being young thugs to Dramaticidal, then we became the Outlaws. And I remember when Pac was locked up and we would go visit him, and he was telling us that, because when we were Dramaticidal before the Outlaws, we had a quick record deal with Interscope Records. And I remember when Pac used to say stuff, he was like, I swear to God, he used to say, you're gonna go meet this person at Interscope, and they devils. I didn't really understand what he meant by that. He's like, but you gotta play it right, and they gonna give us a record deal, but they just straight devils, you know what I mean? So, and now I understand. These people cutthroat, you know what I mean? You don't see no CEO, if you look at any rap record, the CEOs from these rap records, they're not part of our community. Meaning that they come from a different background than us. Most of them are ran by certain individuals. And what happened is they never give back to the community. You never heard of the CEO of Interscope Records, the CEO of Sony Records. These people making billions of dollars off of black music. You never heard them once say, let's open up a school in the black community. Let's give healthcare to the rappers. Let's go open up community centers for the black people. But they taking all this money. You understand? When an individual died, have you ever heard of a record company that paid for a funeral of a dead rapper? Besides Suge Knight, Suge paid, when Pop put it in his will, he wanted to go cremate it. Suge paid $1 million to cremate him. But these people, so now when I think back and when Pop was calling them devils, it's like these people are really devils. They just out for money. They don't care who die in the process. They don't care what happens in the process. They don't care who lives are destroyed, as long as that money coming in.
Yeah, that's real talk, man. But for me, right, when I look at the situation, I look at it like karma. He finally getting everything back that he got away with from back then. And,
arrogance, you got to humble yourself. You know what I mean? You got to understand, like, you can't carry yourself with that arrogance as if you're untouchable, because the creator of the heavens and the earth can destroy you 1 second. And I maybe he's saying that now. Sometimes people be thinking they're untouchable because they get away with certain things so much, and they get careless and they get arrogant. And I think that's what he's going through.